How we doing, guys?
We were asking yesterday about the protection issues you've had as far as the number of sacks. Is that one of the more difficult areas to address because so many different decisions and so many different positions go into it?
Not really. I just think what you do is evaluate each play, and you see who ultimately was responsible for the sack. And maybe a little bit to your point, sometimes it's a combination of factors within a play, but I just think you evaluate it play by play, and you try to notice any sort of a trend within that. And again, it's an issue we have to address, and we're trying to get better in that area.
Have you noticed any sort of a trend?
A combination of factors, I think, is the trend.
What do you expect from Beasley today, and what was he able to do yesterday?
Yeah, we anticipate him practicing today, at least in a limited fashion. Seemed to be fine yesterday, and hopefully his work will ramp up as the week goes on.
Did Tyron do more today?
We do anticipate Tyron doing more today in practice, yes.
In Week 10, Michael Bennett and Brandon Graham put a lot of pressure on Dak. On Sunday, what does this offensive line have to do to contain the Eagles' power edge rushers?
Well, they're really good players, and not only those guys, but they have other guys on that defensive front. Not only their starters, but their backup guys. They come in, and you would argue that's probably the strength of their defense. They have a lot of big-time players. Guys have been Pro Bowl players a lot of years in this league. So really just important for us to be physical at the line of scrimmage and win that battle both in the run game and pass protection, and just do a really good job protecting against those guys. Again, they're really good individuals. They play well together, so they challenge every time the ball's snapped.
In the past, there have been some narrative around here about being able to finish in December. You guys have finished well the last few years in December. Can you talk about that, what you guys have done to improve your December record, and how does that affect this final month here?
Yeah, I guess the biggest thing I'd tell you is we're focusing on Thursday's practice. Any sort of pullback and trying to provide some historical perspective is really not for now. For now is getting ready to have our best practice today so we can play well on Sunday.
I guess when you came up with the T-shirts to finish the fight, though, is that part of that?
Yeah, I would say finish is an important word for us, and there's so many levels to that. Finishing plays, finishing drives, finishing games, and certainly finishing the season. Those are things that we emphasize, and I would imagine that most teams emphasize those things. So very important part of this game. But again, our focus is on today's practice, getting ready for Sunday.
You guys have had success in the screen game this season. What makes a good screen team, and what assets do you guys have that lead that?
Oh, again, probably a combination of factors. You need to have good screen schemes, calling them at the right time. And then, what helps is the quarterback, his deception in it, the back, his deception, and then his ability once he gets the ball, and then the offensive line, their ability to execute those plays, the timing of it, the back and the linemen working together, and then really the athleticism out in space. When your linemen get out in front of your back, being able to get into people and knock defenders off and give your back some running room. And I think at times this year we've done a very good job of that, but it's certainly a work in progress for us.
What impact does Sproles have now that he's back for them?
Just a great player. Been a great player for so many years in this league. Going all the way back to his days in San Diego, just a dynamic player, a game-changing player. So good in the run game because he's quick and he's elusive. And, people say he's small, but he's really thick and strong and powerful, particularly in his lower body. And then obviously in the passing game, he's just a very dangerous space player. And we had a chance to be around him in the Pro Bowl a couple times, and he's just a rare guy too. Doesn't say a whole lot, but loves football and works as hard as anybody you can imagine on the practice field. So certainly a challenge every time the ball snapped. He's a great football player.
It was announced this morning that Dak Prescott was one of your nominees was your nominee for Walter Payton Man of the Year. Let's talk about in his third year. That's a pretty big honor.
Yeah, again, we've talked about Dak a lot, but he's a special guy. He's a special guy on the field and off the field, and just handles himself so well in so many different areas. A great leader for our team and for our organization. And what he's done off the field has been significant. He's embraced his role and has made a big difference in a lot of people's lives. And he's someone who's so genuine. And, is not looking for attention when it comes for anything he does off the field. He's just looking to make an impact and make a difference in people's lives, and he's certainly done that.
Bulletin board material, real thing. Coaches use that, players use that.
I'm sure different teams use bulletin board material a lot of different ways.
Do you guys pay attention
The biggest thing we try to do is focus on ourselves and what we need to do to get ourselves ready, and we try to lock in on each day's preparation to go play our best on Sundays.
Did you hear what the Eagles linebacker said about you guys choking?
No.
No one thought that you were taking it off.
You don't have a problem if that sort of thing filters down to the players, though, do you? Or you just assume it will?
Yeah, again, we play our best when we focus on ourselves, and who knows what filters from one person to another. But again, we're locked in on what we need to do to go play our best.
They've had so many injuries in the secondary. Have they had to alter schematically some of what they do back there, or are they just plugging in guys and staying with the same sort of thing?
Well, you'd have to ask them, that question. That they seem to believe in their defense, and they play a lot of the same things regardless of who's out there. With their front package, their pressure package, and what they're doing in coverage, it seems to be fairly consistent. There's a variety to it, but I don't know that there's a huge difference with the guys that they have out there.
That Zach was able to go through a full practice on Wednesday, probably the first time in a few weeks for him. Is that, I don't want to say he's over what he has, but does it mean he's obviously feeling a lot better that he could make it through?
Well, he's been dealing with this for a little while, like you said, and he's just something else. I mean, he's not going to miss practice. He's not going to miss the game, and his level of toughness and his desire to be out there is really second to none. So I do think he's getting better. You'd have to ask him specifically, but having more work done yesterday in practice probably a result a little bit of having some time off and having a little break between the games. But he works very hard to get himself right, doing a hell of a job for our team.
Sean Lee be able to do anything on a limited basis today, or are you still looking at a few more days?
I think he's going to work on the side more than he is going to work into practice.
Thank you.
All right, good to see you guys.
You coach?